Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Quench Life Podcast. I am super excited to have with me today Jess from the Green Road Refill and the Glass Jar, which is located in East Dennis. Welcome, Jess. I'm so thankful to have you on our podcast today.
Thank you for having me, Jillian.
So why don't you tell us what the Green Road Refill, oh my goodness, is, as well as the Glass Jar.
Great. Hi, guys. So Jess George is here. I'm founder of Green Road Refill. However, I am in partnership with a wonderful store called the Glass Jar Market. I began my business in 2017 mobily. My mission was to reduce Cape Cod's plastic footprint, basically giving Cape Cod the opportunity to look in their homes and see where they're touching plastic, where they're integrating plastic, and what's the alternative to that. And the main part of that business is refilling. So picture your shampoo bottle, your dish soap bottle. So much of our products are packaged in plastic. And what do? We buy the packaging and the products. So trying to eliminate that was the goal. And then things like, your toothbrush, your hairbrush, your kitchen sponge, those are all made out of plastic. And unfortunately, they're headed to the ocean or an incinerator. So to eliminate that was the main mission. So yes, I started mobily with a gutted school bus called Betty Bus. We traveled around everywhere from Wellfleet, once to P-Town, all the way to Martha's Vineyard, Falmouth, just educating along with, giving people that option to reduce. And then about 4 years ago, I opened a store, and that was great but tough. And just recently in October, I partnered up with Megan Lazat, who 2 years ago opened the Glass Jar Market. And that is basically the same thing that I'm doing, refilling, but with food. So I had a pop-up in her shop since she opened. She was actually a customer of mine. And she asked me, she's like, well, what do you think about refilling food? And I was like, ooh, she's like, I'm thinking of opening my own store. And I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to shop there. But something that always spooked me, the idea of having to deal with the health department. But anyways, I had a small pop-up inside her store. And when my lease was up in Brewster, just this past October, we were having a dinner meeting and she said, well, why don't you move in? And it's been fabulous. And so now we call ourselves the Refill Revolution. It's so exciting to see people really hop on board and bring their jars, bring their soap bottles and reduce.
Yeah. So why don't you talk to us, being on the Cape, walk us through, I don't think we really have an understanding of how much plastic goes back into the oceans when we're throwing things out. And I know every time that you and I talk, I'm like, oh my God, I go out and buy everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel so guilty. You just don't realize, you just said that our sponges are plastic, they don't feel plastic. So let's start. So that's my first question is, how much of it, when you're buying that huge thing of laundry soap, what are we talking about to ratios
happy
there?
To. So first off, I want to start by saying our business is about progress over perfection. Okay. You're going to go in my house, you're going to see plastic. It's not like completely elimination. It's about reducing single use and doing what we can in the moment. Again, progress over perfection. But to answer your question, less than 9% of recycled, what we're bringing to what we think we're being recycled is being recycled. Less than 9%, they say.
Wow. So where does it go? They just burn?
Well,
or do we not want to know the answer to that?
We do this thing called wish recycling. We put it in the bin and we think, unfortunately, in Massachusetts, we're doing pretty well in comparison to a lot of the country. But my understanding is that a lot of it is being incinerated. We do this wish recycling and things can get jammed up. We put things that shouldn't go in there and jam up the streams, and a lot of it has to be disposed of, and that is our garbage is being incinerated, so that would include our plastic. And then
that's also because of an error on how we're recycling, is what you're saying?
It can be a combination, yeah. A lot of it is because about 4 years ago, China stopped accepting our plastics. We used to ship our plastics overseas to everything from Indonesia, just countries that could build a business model around sorting the plastic, but then between the pollution and then the lack of money that they realized that they were making, those countries, basically said, we don't want your trash anymore. And so that's the pile up situation. So it's pretty dire, to be honest with you. And I always struggle with staying positive in such a dark, bleak, environmentalism world we're living in as far as climate change. But it's about education. It's about taking responsibility and using your dollar to make a choice for the environment. Yeah, so basically, you're going to buy a toothbrush for $6-7 that's made out of plastic that will live either in landfill or again be incinerated, or you can buy a bamboo toothbrush that can be seriously composted in your backyard. So just giving those people the option. But yeah, it can be a very Debbie Downer kind of situation. And I have kids. This is how I started because I felt like I needed to do something. Taking action over apathy is always the choice that I strive for. So yeah, it's just about like when I started, I took an audit. Every time I touched plastic in my house, I was like, well, what's the alternative? And that's how I started the business, is doing the research and also trying to make sure. A big piece of Megan and I were trying to source our products as ethically, as locally as possible in certain cases. One of the things I like to tout is the fact that we have improved in the last 8 or 9 years since I've been doing this as a nation. When I first started, I was researching Canada and UK for refill shops and stuff. And now I belong to it's like a Facebook group of shop owners, and there's like hundreds of us in the US now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And also the products that we sell are biodegradable, good for you, good for the planet. So you don't have to worry about, what's going on your body, what's going on the drain, knowing that they're high quality and good for us in the Cape and the aquifer. Our Cape Cod aquifer is so sensitive. So knowing that we're not being part of the solution and not the pollution.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So what's one of the biggest misconceptions that you hear or see when we talk about using products that are not as much plastic or more locally sourced?
Yeah. Well, sometimes people are so brand loyal, right? Their Tides, their Cascades, their this and that. And they think that these other natural products don't work. And that's why I really love our business model. And we're going to talk about food in a minute. Right now, we'll talk about the product. But it's that you can just try a little and see if you like it. I mean, we have 5 different conditioners. Not every conditioner for your hair is going to work Same with the laundry detergents and dish soaps and things like that. Try a little, see if you like it. There's no commitment in filling up a whole bottle. You can get enough for 3 loads or whatever you want to try. But again, it's that quality, knowing that it's from more small business, family run, small batch kind of things. When you walk in the store, you're going to find 5 up to 55 gallons of soap. And those are all part of a closed loop program. Another inspirational thing is our closed loop systems are becoming more common, meaning that when I'm done with these, when we empty a 55 gallon jug, I mail them back to Rustic Strength is the company I'm thinking of. So we mail them back to Rustic Strength. They rinse them, they refill them. They might not send them directly back to me, but those will go back to another refill shop. So that, to me, is huge progress in the plastic world. When you think about 55 gallons of soap. I've done the math. I don't have it in my brain right now, but I'm talking where I have refilled, I think it's over 50,000 bottles right now. So think of those bottles in your landfill or in the, being burnt, and it makes a big difference. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is inspiring. My old shop, we had a little fun project going on. We're hoping to rebirth it once we Megan and I we'll talk about this in a little bit, but we're hoping to expand. But we had this thing where people would donate caps, a lot of one of the misconceptions is that you can recycle those little colored caps. They do say to keep them on in some recycling facilities, but for the most part, those are those little ones that can't be recycled. So we would collect them, and every time you did a refill, you would tack one onto the ceiling of my old store. And so it started with just like, a handful in the corner. And by the time we moved out last October, the whole ceiling was covered. It was just like a rainbow of dots. And I've stored those, and I hope to bring them back and maybe create some sort of mural, some kind of art piece, community art piece with them.
Yeah. With products that we have in our home, what's a common product that we have that we might not realize has plastic? I know you mentioned sponges, but is there something else that there's out there that we just don't realize it's there?
Yeah, I think the main thing is bath and body products, maybe not have plastic in them, but some have, I think I think we've been educated about this, but anything with a micro bead, those are pieces of plastic. There's a big thing with, exfoliation with micro beads, and that was basically microplastics put into our bath and body products. So think exfoliation for your face, exfoliation for your hands. Luckily, I think we've been educated in that but that was like a big shocker to me. Like a microbead is plastic. Let me think. Yeah, I think just in general, like the sponges is one. Of course, nothing's popping into my head right now.
No, that's okay.
Sorry. But yeah, I just
good. I put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I think it's just the repetitive, like the single use, like when you're done, it goes away,
Right.
One of the items that I always like to encourage people to do is, I don't know about you, but I love to eat out. And when I go to eat out and I'm got a little bit left over, there's always a container involved, and sometimes that's plastic. Or if I go and I want to get a salad and, we get the single use cutlery, those are other single use. So if you bring your own, that cuts out all of that. So I'm the crazy lady that keeps my own containers in the car, and will run out and be like, oh, I don't need that. I'll run out and grab my stuff. Yeah.
So those of us though that might go, okay, well, what's the big deal? So I take home dinner, in the container and I throw it out. Like, can you just kind of walk us through like why this is a big deal?
Yeah.
What happens?
What's the big
how long
deal for one person? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's how many people doing it. That's the thing that we have to realize. What's the big deal if I throw out my toothbrush? There's some great facts on just toothbrushes alone. I mean, I can't remember, like 50 stories high, buildings could be filled with the amount of toothbrushes. So it's really taking that, again, personal responsibility. It's like, what's the big deal with one person doing it? No, what's the big deal with society doing it? And that's where the pile up leads. It just really is up. There's a great quote by the Lorax: unless someone cares an awful whole lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. If we can have that mentality that our choices have ripple effects, whether that's positive or negative, we can make change.
Okay. So when we talk about household products, what is the easiest way to start looking at or integrating products that are plastic free? Like if you're going to start dabbling your toe in this, what is your suggestion on how we go about that?
Sure. I would start in your kitchen, in your bathroom, and take that audit of what do you have now, because most likely there's an alternative. I would start with simple things like what you're washing your dishes with, whether that's in your automatic dishwasher. A lot of us use those pods. Unfortunately, most of the pods on your shelf at Stop and Shop are filled with phosphate, which is really harmful to our aquifer. I think a lot of those algae blooms are in the news lately. They usually happen in the summer, but a lot of that is caused by phosphate of runoff, and that can be anything from yard chemicals, but also what we're washing our clothes and our dishes with. And then the pods themselves, those little kind of, and I actually used to sell the drop ones, which were the earth-friendly ones. But then I learned that the PVA, the coating, that, that little clear potty coating is actually, it's very controversial, but it doesn't biodegrade the way that they say it is. So you're creating a byproduct of sludge. Some claim that there's microplastics in it. The science is yet to be out on that. So go into your kitchen, go into your bathroom, and just like I did, every time you pick up the plastic, see what the alternative is. Your hairbrush, your toothpicks. We all use those little flosser picks. So we sell ones that are made out of cornstarch. And the products themselves, it's really important to read your labels. There's a whole nother piece. There's like a list of ingredients that we make sure aren't in our products. A lot of them are phosphates, sulfates, parabens, phthalates. These are chemicals that have been proven to be hormone disruptors, things that are possible carcinogens. We make sure none of those are in our products.
Okay. And why does it feel like weird when you were like talking about making these changes? I guess weird's not the right word, but you said, that some people just won't get off their Tide or their, their Cascade. Is that just because of the marketing, or is it just
this is
because
something that's kind of tender.
People don't really believe it?
Yeah. I don't want to judge. I never want to pretend I know what your life is like and say, hey, it could be so much easier, or, this is easy to do. It might not be easy for you. But we have become very complacent in our consumerism, and we become, whether it's we're loyal to a certain brand because we grew up with it and we smell it and we think, oh, that's what clean smells like. Some people think that if you walk into a bathroom and it's got this potent smell, then that's clean. That's actually, those are the chemicals usually that, I don't know about you, but like when I created my cleaner lifestyle, right before I started having kids, that's when your brain kind of clicks on like, ooh, future. I would, now that I, have eliminated these chemicals and things in my home, when I walked through the grocery store and I start to get close to that aisle with all the products, my eyes start to burn. We're being exposed to a lot of chemicals. Europe is way ahead of the game and has banned so many more chemicals and products, whether that's food coloring to ingredients in our shampoos and our, Glade air fresheners and stuff. And we're just behind it. And I'm not really sure what that's all about. I know it's a little controversial. A lot of people are talking about those kind of things. But it does feel, I think we're overwhelmed as a society in general. So when I think about my consumer choices, it does feel natural to me, but it could not, people have so much on their plate these days. So it's like to change up what they're doing in their routine when their routine is already overwhelming, and that's where you try not to judge people. It's like, but if you have the means, if you have the time to educate yourself, your mind will be blown. And my whole mission with the business is to take a piece of that, I don't want to say anxiety but just like when it feels like work, take that out of it. This is a one-stop shop where you can feel good about what you're buying and how you're reducing, but also what's in your products.
Yeah, I agree. I think the smells are such a weird thing. Like everything that I wash with, and I've actually switched to. Maybe you can tell me if it's even good that I did, but we don't buy laundry soap anymore. I buy the ones that are like dryer sheets.
Yeah. We sell those too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. We're good.
I'm on the mend. I'm doing that. And I agree, like the smelliness, it's a lot. And I don't feel like that's like natural on how things should be.
Yeah. There's extremes, you have to find that balance in your life. And, if you can commit to making small changes, firm believer in small changes can make big differences. You just have to start somewhere, and that's really the mission of Green Road Refill, is to give you a good start.
Okay, yeah, little steps can make a huge difference in what we're doing.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk about the glass jar and that super cute shop that you guys have in East Dennis? because that's also filling another hole is, getting to be able to refill foods.
Yeah, so we've all, shopped at the grocery store, and so much of our packaging is plastic, whether it's a bag of pasta or, your olive oil, whatever you got, snacks, all that stuff. So Megan's mission was not only to give people an opportunity to reduce that packaging, but also buying in bulk is cheaper than buying, we sell spices and teas, and it's amazing to see. I love when we check people out and people are like, it's only that much. Like, I just got this and this and this and this. And, but yeah, when you're eliminating the price of the packaging, and, it saves dollars. So what's great is now we had our shops were literally 10 minutes away from each other. I was on 6A in Brewster, and she's, the Glass Jars in East Dennis, both on 6A, both on the same side of the street. So we would literally have people come from one store and go to the other, and I just got out of the Glass Jar. Oh, I'm heading over to the Green Road, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So now we're like the one-stop shop. So the food is awesome. Megan has done so much research in finding really high quality food. We are a little low on organics just because we don't have the space. We're hoping to expand and get a larger space. That is all a little hush-hush right now because we're in like negotiation kind of things. But yeah, you can get anything from, she's got like 4 or 5 different types of flour, whether that's whole wheat, double zero, gluten-free, all that, all-purpose, King Arthur. And when you look at the price, break it down per pound, it's so much cheaper than going to the grocery store. So, pantry staples, but also snacks and chocolate and gummy bears, and teas, and all the spices you can think of. It's really fabulous. And we're Megan and I and a lot of our community are jar hoarders. We like find a cool jar and we're like, I'm going to wash this out and see what I can, put in it. And
yep.
And then, you get something, you take pride in it in a way, like the people that have really signed on. It's kind of like a cool community that, people that really care, but also it's fun. It's like almost like, adult penny candy, where you come in and you could get just like my business model of just getting a couple squirts of something. You can just get a couple, tablespoons, or you can get, a scoop of, we have gluten-free pasta. We have all different types of goodies. Being in partnership with Megan has been seriously one of the best business decisions I've made, because it's great being able to share a mission and share the load of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So how do you shop that? So what do we do? We have to bring... Yeah. Walk us through how we shop that. What do I need to bring?
Cool. Well, for one thing, if you want to just come in and see what we have, and you don't have a clean or empty jar, we do have bags, like paper bags for the food. Obviously, that doesn't work for dish soap, but I have some I'm a kombucha queen. So I clean out all my kombucha. They're really nice glass amber bottles, and I put pumps and sprays on them, and you can buy them for like $2. But a lot of people love to bring in their own jars. So we get everything from, an old shampoo bar, a Quaker Oats, container from the grocery store. We don't care what it looks like.
Right.
The food jars have to be clean. The soap does not. You can bring back some with, your old shampoo bar with, or your old shampoo with some left in it. And then you walk in the door, you got your little bag of jars. You come to our counter, we have a scale. We tear everything, meaning that we weigh it and we write down the tear, usually on the bottom of the bottle. We also have like biodegradable stickers, and we stick that to the bottle or jar. And you go on, you could have one, we have people that come in and just like, they're there for a half hour, just, refilling. And then you go around, we have big scoops for things in 5-gallon buckets. The glass jars themselves have handles so you can pour things in. We've got funnels and tongs, and there's a little bit of education when you first get there. We're a very friendly staff. We love helping people. Sometimes people come in a little intimidated because it's different, right? It's not like the grocery store, but we're we're very friendly staff. We love helping people and show them the ropes. But yeah, you just basically grab what you want, put it in your jar. Once you get all your jars full, your bottles full, you bring it back to the scale and we weigh it up, and easy peasy. It's on a square thing. You can pay cash, credit, check, Apple Pay, all that good stuff. It's pretty seamless. People, if you make a mess, it's not the end of the world. We've got rags and things like that, but most people really enjoy it. Some people, and we're always happy to help. Like some people get intimidated the first time and they're just like, can you do it for me? And if we have the time and we're not busy, yes, we will do it for you.
Right.
There's a couple products that we prefer to do. We have a very fine, we call them our boutique items. We have a really fine line of olive oils, avocado oils, balsamic vinegar, canola. That stuff is like, Michelin rated, top notch. So we like to fill that sometimes. We also have wildflower.
Talk dirty to me, nice olive oil.
Yeah. It's a Safi Sauna, and look it up. It's like in over 40 Michelin starred restaurants. It's really good.
Oh, wow.
We also say it's maybe not this thing you're going to like saute vegetables in. It might be something like you dip, bread and herbs and stuff, depending on your budget. But yeah, we have some really nice stuff. We also have a great local honey that Megan actually drives 2 hours north to northern Massachusetts and picks up our honey. Our main like snack provider is Arcade there in, I want to say, don't quote me on that. That's Megan's. But, we try to source local vendors. So, so we will refill the honey for you and the maple syrup and some of the oils. We've got a really great vanilla extract, those kind of things where if you were to make a little mistake, it's kind of pricey. So we take that stress out of it and do it for you.
Anything you can do to help, right?
Yeah.
And you got pastas, rices.
Yeah, any rice you can think of, long grain, brown, jasmine, legumes. One of the things I'm very proud of that was one of my like guilty plastic, things that I did. I'm a hummus eater. And now I buy my beans and I soak them and I make my own hummus. It's so much easier than I ever thought. So yeah, beans. Yeah. A lot of people are drawn to like the nuts, the granolas, the chocolates are really popular. We've got these double sized malt balls. They're like double chocolate covered malt balls that are very popular. So, people.
You're just come for the candy.
Yeah. And it's great because parents come in and it's an education for their kids, right? Especially like during school vacation, it's always fun to get a mom bringing in their, the kids and, between the math of it and seeing the tear and them being able to choose what they want and put it in the bag or a jar. It's a really fun, unique experience, but it's something that I hope can kind of come back. Sometimes we have to go backwards to go forwards because buying in bulk used to be a thing, your stores. And then the packaging came into focus and, we are where we are. So it's kind of like going back in time a little bit, when you would order from behind the counter and they would get the jar down and put it in,
Nothing wrong with that. A little more customer service and opportunity to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah, it really does feel like a community because the one thing that's really great, the difference between refilling soap and refilling food. Refilling soap, you're going to go through your dish soap in, 6 weeks or whatever, depending on how big the bottle. People eat every day, like people are like, they can, binge a thing of 19th hole. That's our most popular snack in a day and have to come back for more. So it's like we see a lot of the same people and it does create community. It's really nice. People are very grateful to have the opportunity to shop like this.
Yeah, that's really cool. So if we're coming down, we need to bring some type of jar, some type of container. What if I have a plastic container? Is that
we don't care. No judgment. This is a no judgment zone.
All right.
Yeah, and like I said, it's progress over perfection. And, glass is heavy. Like, but a lot of some people bring in like canvas bags. Some people just use the paper bags that we provide and then put it, whatever they want to put it in when they get home. So that is an option. Yeah.
Okay.
But bring me a jar.
I like it.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us where we can find you guys? You're in East Dennis.
Yeah. So we're right where 134 hits Route 6A. So that would be old exit blah, 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 old exit 9. I don't know where the exit. So basically you go all the way down until you hit 6A, and it's awesome because we're right there. You can't miss us. It's called the Players Plaza. There used to be a 7-Eleven in the plaza. It's actually the plaza is being sold. It's in negotiations right now. Right now there's a post office and Talia's awesome hot yoga and us. Okay. And then also Fitness for Life, Deanna's. So it's kind of like a nice little health hub right now.
That is nice.
But it's called the Players Plaza right on Route Bay in East Dennis. And if you guys know Smugglers, that's the ice cream place. We're right like kitty corner to Smugglers. Yeah.
Very nice. And we can follow you on social media where?
Yeah, follow us both. Megan and I, Glass Jar Market, Green Road Refill. We're open 7 days a week. So we're open Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and Sundays from 10 to 4. I will be out with Sally's Sud Shed, my little shed, in just a couple months with the farmers markets and festivals. Also, there's a great event on the 28th of this month called the Meet Your Farmer event. And that's all different farmers from around mostly the Mid-Cape to Outer Cape. Farmers and vendors meeting at the Cape Cod Tech on the 28th. So look that up, Buy Fresh, Buy Local event that's hosted by the Harwich Conservation Trust. But yeah, it's going to be a great going into the summer season. We were featured on Chronicle just a little while ago, and that just like souped us up. And we're really excited to have this offered to our community and keep building.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I encourage everybody to swing through and say hello and start to make the transition to leading that plastic-free life.
Yeah. Oh, and I should also mention Megan's website, the Glass Jar Market, is great. It lists everything that she sells food-wise. So think about, if you need a certain spice and you want a little bit of it, make sure you can see what she has there. She keeps it updated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good tip because when you're trying new things, you can get just a little bit. You don't have to commit to the entire thing.
Yeah, right on.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast today, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much.